Hey everyone, welcome back. We're in the kitchen this morning. We're gonna try to smoke a pork shoulder today, and I thought I'd bring you along in this video. Part of what I told you in this channel is I'll just bring you along for whatever it is I'm working on, and today we're smoking this almost 9-pound bone-in pork shoulder. And I thought I would just show you the process I use, and that it can be pretty simple. Gets great results just using an electric smoker and a rub that I kind of made up using a couple different recipes that I found online that I combined together. So I'll show you those steps and let me know what you think. So this rub is pretty easy. I've got a little bit left over from the last time I did this. So I'm just going to empty that into the bowl, and then I'm going to make another batch to add to it. Since this pork shoulder is relatively big, you might have to double this recipe if you're making something big. But like that would be plenty if you're just doing some chicken or something like that. But the recipe is just starting out with some brown sugar as the base. So it's a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. A tablespoon of paprika. It doesn't have to be exact, just pretty close is good. Tablespoon of salt. A teaspoon of black pepper. You can add more if you prefer it to be a little spicy, or add different peppers. A teaspoon each of garlic and onion powder. And then I like to add about a tablespoon of just whatever your favorite Weber seasoning is. Just adds a little more flavor and spice to it. And I just like Weber's. We have all different ones that we use for grilling, and I just mix it into this rub recipe and then just combine it all together. Brown sugar is really the key. You can mix in any other dry seasonings that you choose, but the brown sugar is going to hold in the fat and kind of create that good crust on it as it smokes and cooks real slow. Alright, so I found an easy way to not waste a lot of the rub is to empty it into an old seasoning shaker of some kind, or you can buy specific shakers online, but I just saved one. And then I empty this, or put this rub into this shaker and put the lid on, and then just use the holes from the shaker to sprinkle this on. And that just makes it so I waste a lot less. Alright, so as you put this on here, just put it on liberally and pat it on. You don't want it falling off everywhere, but you want the whole thing to be coated, top, bottom, and sides. So just as you sprinkle it in, make sure it gets rubbed in real good, and it's not going to fall off everywhere once you put it in the smoker. But All right, so we're outside. Just a couple real quick tips when you're using an electric smoker. Um, I shoot for an hour per pound at 250 degrees. So it doesn't have to be complicated. You don't have to overthink it. Just check the meat with a meat thermometer toward the end of that time range. Um, and then the second main rule I try to follow is to not soak your wood chips. So I know that a lot of the smoker instructions will tell you to smoke your wood chips, but what that does is it creates steam instead of smoke. So I've had this smoker going for 20 or 30 minutes here. It's up to temperature at 250 degrees. And when I open it, you're going to notice a lot of white smoke coming out, which is true smoke. You don't want steam. You can see it's already coming out through the edges of the doors, and there's a vent on the back it's coming out. And then the second, or kind of a third rule I generally follow is that I put the meat fat side up to start with. I know this is a big debate, and you can follow whatever works for you, or whatever you prefer. There's all kinds of other YouTube videos you can go see if you're really wanting to know the details of how to smoke a piece of meat. But this is just what I follow. It turns out to provide great results, and it always provides meat that we really enjoy. And true smoke flavor that you can't get from an oven or a crock pot or anything else. So I just dump off the excess rub and I place it right on the rack, right in the middle. And there's a pan in there for water that provides moisture in this particular smoker. And then I have a mix of hickory and apple wood chips in there today. I also use mesquite wood chips a lot. I grew up in Texas, so mesquite is a big deal there. And obviously you can use pellet smokers or a wood-fired smoker. The electric ones do a great job. They're less work intensive. I would love to have a wood smoker, but I just don't have time to mess with it all the time whenever I do want to smoke a piece of meat. So this is a good way to get similar results in a very convenient way. And also the electric smoker is a very cost-effective and very cheap way of getting started smoking if you're just wanting to get some real good smoked meat and barbecue flavor. So we'll come back and we'll check this in a few hours. I know it's tempting, but if you're using an electric smoker or any smoker really, do your best not to open the door unless you really need to just check on it. We'll come back in 2 to 4 hours, a couple times throughout the day, and just make sure that water pan's filled up. Those wood chips, since I didn't smoke them, they'll actually turn black and burn down a little bit. And if we need to, we'll sprinkle some more wood chips on top of there too. But other than that, we're going to leave the door shut for the majority of the day, and we'll show you the results at the end. All right, so it's been about 4 hours since we put the pork shoulder on the smoker this morning. Let's open it up and see what it looks like, and we'll add a little water and sprinkle on some more wood chips if we need to. can see how I'm not soaking these wood chips in water. I'm just putting them right in dry. All right, guys, it's almost 5 o'clock. The pork shoulder's been on for almost 9 hours. So I've got a meat thermometer out here. We're gonna take the internal temperature of the meat and make sure it reaches temperature, which is about 165 plus. You get closer to 180, 190, and it really starts to fall apart, which is excellent. So as long as the internal temperature is good, I'm gonna take it out and put it on this cutting board and wrap it in foil, and then I'm gonna let it rest in a cooler for about 45 minutes to an hour. So let's check the temperature. When you're checking the temperature, just make sure you don't hit the bone. Because the bone will read hotter than the meat. So it looks like we're done. So I'm gonna shut off the smoker, take it out and wrap it up in some foil and let it rest. I wish you could smell that. All right, it's been about 45 minutes, so let's unwrap it and pull it apart.